My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. Hey guys, so as you've probably noticed, I've been making an effort lately to film some more than I usually do. I've been filming some extra videos and putting them on my channel basically as extra bonus videos. So usually I post a bonus video every Friday in addition to my Sunday and Wednesday regular upload schedule. And lately I've been posting more bonus videos even than just that one. And they've mostly been an occasion for me to kind of indulge in the lighter side of beauty YouTube. So I've been having fun filming myself putting on makeup, and I decided that I wanted to just film some overhead videos playing with makeup and produce some kind of shorter, sweeter videos that allow me to just indulge in my love of beauty, which is a huge part of the reason that I even started this channel to begin with. So I placed an order from Colourpop this month. It was a $30 order. It was exactly the minimum for shipping, which I don't always do. I'm fine with paying for shipping from Colourpop, but they were having a sale and I started playing around with the build your own palette app that they have on there, or the build your own palette function, and I just decided that I really wanted to build my own palette because so much of the eyeshadow that's come into my life this year, all of the eyeshadow that's come into my life, has been eyeshadow that I didn't choose. And when I started playing around with it, I realized that I really, really relished the idea of actually choosing for myself and buying my own palette that I built myself. There was something really super satisfying about that. I took a lot of joy in doing it, and I was really glad that I decided to go ahead and buy the palette that I had built. So that's what's in this box, presumably, and then I also purchased one of the new cream blushes that Colourpop just released, and I don't know why the box is so plump. It seems like there's like 3 times more makeup in here than what I believe I actually ordered. So I'm gonna open it up. It arrived 2 days ago and I haven't opened it yet because I've been saving it for this video. This is just gonna be a simple little Colourpop unboxing. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. I guess they put a lot of bubble wrap in here, and that's why it was so plumped up. Cute. Receipt. All right, here are all of the single shadows. Here's the blush. It's in the shade Roosevelt, which is like the dark bronzy one. And then here is the little palette that they sent for my single shadows to go in. So let's open the blush first, because I feel like opening these single shadows and putting them in the palette is kind of going to be the main event. The little top of the component is stuck on a little bit crooked. Seems like a bit of a rush job. I'm going to zoom in so that I can swatch this. So there's the color name Roosevelt right there. The color is perfect for me. That's the exact kind of deep, dusky blush that I enjoy, a really natural, kind of neutral, fleshy look. I'm a little bit surprised by the almost jelly-like quality of this product. So it's almost like it's semi-transparent. It doesn't have that opacity or that white base that, in my experience, a lot of cream blushes have. So that's something to know about that. In that way, it feels different to me from, for example, the Glossier Cloud paints, which I find to be more opaque. It's almost like they have a white base, whereas you can kind of see with a thick swatch on there that it's like, you know, you can scrape it away and there's just like a kind of a transparency to the quality of it. But it's beautiful. It'll be fun to play with it on the face. All right, let's go ahead and get into the eyeshadows. This is the main event. I'm going to open them all up and put them one by one into this little palette. And then we'll kind of like swatch and organize and talk about them. So I'm now remembering that when I built this palette, I added 4 mattes, 4 shimmers of different formulas, like different kinds of shimmers, and then 4 glitters. These are the 4 glitters. But before we put the glitters in, I'm gonna go ahead and just talk about the mattes and the shimmers and swatch them. I wanted reds. I wanted some sort of rich corally reds. I was kind of trying to build like a dimensional textured coral palette because that is something that I don't have very much of, which is super weird because most people are swimming in those colors because they've been popular for so long. But I never really got into them. I'm like really late to get onto that train. So I have looked at my eyeshadows and I just have been wanting to build sort of more blushy corally looks, and I definitely have shadows that I could reach for to create looks like that, but I fancied the idea of making a little uber textural palette with some glitters and some duochromes in it that would be kind of built around those colors. On the website, Martian, which is this one right here, looks a lot more bright than it is in real life. And I think that that's actually kind of a trend. It's actually a really gorgeous kind of muted, slightly satin coral, and I'm really glad that I purchased it. It's very, very beautiful, but I was expecting it to be like a bright orange, like a really, really bright orange. And I think that this color right here, which is called Meteorite, I was expecting to be even brighter. And this will probably show up pretty bright on the eyes. I was sort of thinking of like putting this in and above the crease as a way of putting down like a bright orangey base for a look. But both of these are a little bit more earthy in real life than I was expecting. But I'm definitely fine with it. And I also feel like actually swatching them on my hand, they look a little brighter and they give me a sense of a more colorful eye look than they do here in the pans. So it's a little bit different than what I thought I was buying, but I'm pleased with it. And this one right here, which is called Wait For It, it's the same thing. It looks like sort of a pale, boring peach in the pan, but then when I swatch it, it's definitely kind of the rich, creamy, bright coral, sort of like a white-based coral that I was hoping for to use as a base shade and a transition shade. So yeah, I think when I opened the little containers of these, I was a little disappointed with how muted they looked, but now I'm swatching them and I feel like I definitely got more what I was bargaining for. So I'm excited to play with these and build some looks around them. And then this one right here, Sleeper, I decided to get it, oh my goodness, that's really purple. I decided to get it as an outer corner deepening shade, but it's actually a really, really bright, rich purple. I was expecting it to be a deep, almost like a blackened plummy purple, and in fact, it's like a rich berry. It's very beautiful. It's almost violet. So I might switch that out maybe towards the end of this video for a different eyeshadow that I find in my singles collection that works better with this palette. I'm not sorry to have this eyeshadow. I don't have anything like this in my collection of singles, but it's not exactly what I expected. I was led by the website and by online swatches to believe that it would be a really, really dark color, and I chose it kind of as a slightly more creative alternative to black. So those are the mattes. There's Sleeper, Wait For It, Meteorite, and Martian. All right, let's talk about these shimmers. So these two I think are the regular metallic formulas. This one is called Millie, and this one is called Pinky Promise. So let's swatch those two. Millie, it was the last one I added. I almost didn't add it because it's just a basic bronze, and bronze is pretty much my favorite eyeshadow color. So I feel like, wow, look at it. So I feel like I have a lot of bronze eyeshadows already, but there were just so many gorgeous images of this shadow online, and when I saw the swatches on the Colourpop website and I saw images of it in some little custom palettes, my eye kept being drawn to it. It just looked like it might be kind of a richer, creamier, more dimensional bronze than a normal bronze eyeshadow. And in fact, it is very interesting. It definitely looks like it has a little bit of sort of slightly different colored pigments in it. So it almost has like an overlay of a peachy shift. Like it's like a peachy copper in a way, and it definitely suits this palette. I don't think it's the most original or out of the box choice for me, but I do think it's a really solid shadow, and I think it suits this palette really well. This one, Pinky Promise, is, wow, it's super creamy feeling. This feels gorgeous. This is definitely more out of the box for me. And again, I was kind of thinking of this, I like to deepen up my outer corner and deepen up my looks with metallics as well as mattes. And I was kind of thinking of this as sort of a deepening shade, and one that would keep this more in like the coral category, this whole palette. It too has a little bit of sort of orange around the edges. They both have this kind of slightly peachy tint to them, which makes them suit each other. It makes it cohesive in terms of color. And I don't have much pink. I don't really tend towards pink. So I do think that this is a good addition to the group of eyeshadows that I'm working with. But neither of these is really knocking my socks off, if I'm honest, in terms of color. The quality of the formula is pretty amazing. It's pretty awesome. This one right here is called Tinker Time, and it is supposed to be a glitter-infused metallic shadow. Wow. This is 100% my vibes. It's basically a taupe with a bunch of micro glitter, very, very fine. I mean, it really doesn't seem that glittery, but it definitely has some glitters that these other two don't have. And I was just intrigued by that because I really like creamy metallic shadows with super tiny micro glitters in them, because I find that that's what gives my lids that sort of wet look without it being something that's actually wet and that's gonna crease. So this really reminds me of one of my all-time favorite eyeshadows, which is Jaclyn Hill's 24/7 from her Morphe palette. And that was what I was hoping. I was hoping that the Colourpop glitter metallic formula would give the same wet look effect. And I'm actually super excited about this one. This is my most exciting to me of all of these shadows that I've swatched so far, because I just think that this all over the lid is gonna be incredible. I think that is really, really spot on. I'm super excited. It's exactly what I was hoping it would be. And then this one right here is one of their duochromes. It's called Misty. And I recently received as a gift some single eyeshadows from a subscriber, Verena, and she sent Misty, but it broke in the mail. So I wanted to replace the one that she tried to send me, partly because I just, I was filling this palette and I thought, why not? And also because when Angelica was here, she was like, you have to get Misty. For some reason, she just told me that she thought that this would suit me really well. And I do see why. It's definitely the duochrome version. It's like the proper duochrome shadow for this palette that I was trying to build. It's like a corally, pinky, yellow shifting duochrome, and it's very beautiful. I feel like these all work well together, and I feel like they all work well with the mattes also, with the exception of this purple, which is just much brighter and more violet than I expected it to be. So that is Millie, Pinky Promise, Tinker Time, and Misty. Let's open up these glitters. These are, to me, the main event. I wanted these glitters, and that's pretty much why I was placing the order, and that was why I started messing around with building my own palette. I'm really glad I ended up building the whole palette, but these glitters are definitely what I was even here for to begin with. There's the whole palette. Here are the 4 glitters. I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch them. This one is called Island Hopping, I believe. And wow, it's just sort of like a icy blue white with some slightly color shifting little glitters in there. This one is Renegade, which is their gold bronze. This one is called Get Lost, and this one has a bunch of different sizes of glitter chunks in there. And then this one is Indio, which is like a rose gold. So there's Island Hopping, Renegade, Get Lost, and Indio. I really like this glitter formula, and I knew that I liked it when I placed this order because Angelica had brought 2 glitter shadows from this collection to me, or given them to me as gifts when she was here. So she gave me Hungry Ghost and Boombaya. I'll actually get them out right now. So there's Boombaya and there's Hungry Ghost. Oh goodness, I just really dug into that. Hungry Ghost is, I think, my favorite. It's definitely got that super iridescent shift going on. And then Boombayah it's orange. It's quite orange, although it doesn't look as orange when it's applied as it does in the pan. You really have to build it up to get that orange look. So those are the glitters. I love working with glitter, and I like this formula a lot because it's so portable. I like the idea of being able to take a glitter that performs relatively well, that has some of its own adhesive in it. I definitely find that if I want to have the easiest time possible, using a glitter glue helps, but you don't have to, because these are pressed into their pans with adhesive, so you can kind of mess around just with the formula as it is. I like the idea of being able to put something like that in a magnetic palette rather than having to take like a whole separate pot product with me somewhere. So I'm glad that I have these 6 because I do think I'll get a lot of use out of them, and I do tend to use a lot of glitter at one time, so I could actually see myself using these up. Unlike my big pots of glitter from Slayfire and Lemonhead, which are just gonna last forever and forever. I think this is a really elegant way to buy and use glitter. So because this dark purple isn't exactly what I was expecting, and because in a little palette like this, I myself definitely want to have more variety in terms of tone, like I want something darker in this palette, I'm going to pull out some of my single shadows and maybe do some switching out, definitely of that shadow, but maybe of some other ones, and see what I can do to perfect this palette as sort of like a one and done little go-to palette for me to use in the coming weeks and months. I think I'm gonna have to zoom us out. So this is my extra large magnetic palette from Adept Cosmetics. I really, really love this, and it's been out of stock for a long time and it's just about to restock. So as always, my link for Adept will be down below. I guess there's this super dark purple, which I think is the dark purple from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. That's kind of more what I was expecting from this Colourpop shadow, but it's very, very dry and chalky, this one. This isn't going to give me what I want. I wouldn't be happy with this in this palette. I really love the Colourpop matte formula, which is why I purchased these, even though I do have some colors like that. I really, really wanted them in the Colourpop formula. All right, I'm not seeing what I want in terms of a darker shadow to go in this little palette in this selection of singles. So I'm pulling in this other magnetic palette, which is also from Adept. They actually sent this over to me, for which I'm very grateful because I was recently sent all of these singles right here, which are mostly Makeup Geek, by a subscriber. And I actually think that this might be, I think most of these are Makeup Geek. This might, all right, the camera stopped recording and I'm not sure where it left off, but this is Makeup Geek Drama Queen right here. And it is a slightly satin formula. So that's perfect for me for darkening up the outer corner. And it's kind of like that dirty purple. I keep swatching it all over myself. It's that kind of dirty, rich purple that I was really hoping for. And so I think that is actually going to be the perfect deepening shade for this palette. But I wonder if I might want to put something else in there too. Yeah, so this right here is Makeup Geek Steampunk, and it was over here in my big palette, but I think it might have also come along with these guys because otherwise I don't know where it came from. I definitely didn't buy it. And it is more of, it's like an even darker brown with a little bit of sort of like a reddish purplish undertone. I think this would suit this little palette very well as well. And you know what I'm going to take out is this really, really bright white glitter. I'll find another home for this because I think that I will be happier when it comes to finishing looks that I make with this palette with glitters. I'll be happier with these kind of more bronzy, goldy colors. So I'm gonna put that one right in there. And that's looking pretty perfect to me. That's looking pretty perfect. All right, so there we are. That's the little palette that I ended up with a couple of switch outs through the Build Your Own Palette little section of the Colourpop website. And I'm gonna go ahead and swatch them all one more time, just like little tiny swatches in the back of my hand so we can see the way that the palette swatches out all together. And I'll also remind you again what they are, just in case you're wondering. So we have Wait For It, which is the Colourpop Shadow. We have Meteorite. We have Martian. Wait, I think I got those two confused. This is Martian, this clay colored one. And this brighter coral is Meteorite. And then this right here is Makeup Geek Drama Queen. Now we have Millie, Tinker Time, Misty, and Pinky Promise. And then this down here is Makeup Geek Steampunk. Wow, that is a bomb eyeshadow. That is pretty amazing. I'm glad that this is in here because I'm going to be playing with this palette a lot in the coming weeks, and I really am excited to play with that some more. This right here is the glitter Renegade. This glitter is Get Lost. And this glitter right here is Indio. So there's my whole little palette. I know that to some of you it probably seems boring and like a neutral warm palette of some kind, but I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it because it represents the tools to create a kind of look that I've been craving and that I have been feeling like it's hard to get spot on with what I already have, even though it's a little bit ridiculous. I mean, you guys saw all the single shadows that I have. I just now showed them to you. And so I definitely didn't need more to create beautiful looks, but there was something really gratifying about making this myself and choosing it myself. It wasn't a gift. It wasn't PR. It was my own kind of artistic impulse towards a vision of some looks that I want to be creating right now. And I feel really, really good about having spent some of my budget on fulfilling that vision. And I feel really excited about playing with that. And then just a quick little reminder, here's the blush. And I actually think that it goes beautifully with this whole color story. I think it's all very cohesive. So that is it. That is all I have for you today. It's a simple, quick, sort of straightforward, relatively one-dimensional video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this. It was really fun for me to film. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself right now so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.